Hello everyone, my name is Jongsu Lee, working for OSEAN. It's my pleasure to meet you here today. The title of my presentation is Review of Current Monitoring Methods in Indonesia and Suggestions for Indonesia's Monitoring Program. Let me start my presentation with the contents. At first, I'll tell you the definition of monitoring. Next, I'll review beach debris monitoring in Indonesia and compare nationwide beach debris monitoring programs in Indonesia. In Indonesia, there are two nationwide monitoring programs. And first, I will introduce Korean National Beach Litter Monitoring Programs. From these three monitoring programs, I'll find advantages and disadvantages of these monitoring programs. And finally, I will tell you about recommendations beach debris monitoring in Indonesia. What is monitoring? You may hear about the word monitoring many times. But if you ask to explain what monitoring is, you may be frustrated. Monitoring is a repeated measurement of a characteristic of the environment or of a process in order to detect a trend in a space or time. It has many connotations. Repeated means we should survey a characteristic of environment. I call it object or phenomenon many times, repeatedly. And when we measure environmental characteristics, so we need unit. And a trend in a space or time, if we detect this kind of trend, we have to survey many times and in many places. This slide shows you several national, regional, or global monitoring guidebooks. This is NOAA's monitoring guidebook, and 4 of them are European beach debris monitoring guidebooks. And on the center, there is a UNEPS. And we have our own beach debris monitoring guidebook here in Korea. These all monitoring guidelines are supposed to survey on national, regional, or global level, as well as a small scope of the survey area. Before reviewing nationwide beach debris monitoring guides in Indonesia, I'll show some list of beach debris monitoring researches conducted in Indonesia. For this summary, I googled Google Scholar with the word Marine Debris Indonesia, Marine Litter Indonesia, Beach Debris Indonesia, and Beach Litter Indonesia. And I searched Science Direct and Scopus with the same word combinations. Here is the result. Let's see one by one. This study was conducted on Southern Island Jakarta Bay in 1985. This research was on Palau Seribu Archipelago in 1994. This study was conducted on same area to the first one, but in different time, 1995. And this research was conducted on Biwak Island, West Java in 2013 and 2013. This research was conducted on Silica Bay in 2013 to 2015. And this one is conducted on Kuta Valley in 2014, 2015, and 2017. They have different system of classification of debris, and survey area are different too. We have 7 more researches here, and they were conducted on different area and different time period. And they used different methodologies. They had different classification system of debris. So I would say most of them are individual surveys or research project, not nationwide monitoring survey. This map shows you the studied location of monitoring surveys that I mentioned before. They are largely concentrated on Java Island. And there are governmental efforts as well to address marine debris in Indonesia, especially since 2010. The government established Indonesia's Plan of Action on Marine Plastic Debris 2017 to 2025. In this plan, there are 5 cross-cutting approaches for combating marine debris. They are behavior change, reduce the land-based leakage, reduce the sea-based leakage, enhance law enforcement and finance. Last one is research and development. Then how about the nationwide monitoring surveys? As far as I know, there are 2 major beach debris monitoring surveys in Indonesia. One is the Marine Debris Monitoring Guidelines from Ministry of Environment and Forestry. The other is Indonesia Stranded Beach Debris Program from Indonesian Institute of Sciences. Before looking through the 2 nationwide monitoring programs, I'll tell you the criteria for the monitoring guides that I evaluate with them. The table means for a nationwide monitoring survey, this kind of component should be included. They are objective, target, scale, frequency, surveyor, data collection, and management. Objective means objectives of the project. Target deals with target size of the debris, characterization of the debris, and scales are about geographic scale, spatial distribution, and site selection criteria. Frequency means the interval of the survey. And next one is surveyors. It means are they volunteers or they are trained or they are professional like a scientist. And next one is data collection. It's about measurement, collecting tool, and database. And the last one is management of the data and the program. With these criteria, I reviewed the 2 nationwide monitoring surveys in Indonesia, and these are the results. First one is Marine Debris Monitoring Guidelines from Ministry of Environment and Forestry. The other is Indonesia Stranded Beach Debris Program from Indonesian Institute of Sciences. From now on, I call them MD, MG, and ISBDP respectively. MGMD's goal is to protect and preserve marine environment from marine debris. And ISBDP's goal is to provide marine debris data to Indonesian government for the management of marine debris. For the target, MDMG and ISBDP both are targeted larger than 2.5 cm of the debris. But MDMG classified the debris into 9 materials and 77 items. ISBDP classified the debris into 7 materials and 42 items. Next one is about scale and scope. Both are nationwide beach debris monitoring program. For MDMG monitoring sites, the beach should be larger than 100 meters of debris, meter of beach, and they should be sand or pebble beach with a low to moderate slope. It should not be cleaned up, not sensitive habitats. For ISBDP monitoring sites, it should be sand with a low to moderate slope. They should be open beach, no cleanups. Next is about data collection. On MDMG monitoring guide, the site should be monitored biannually, but this seasonal survey is recommended. On ISBDP monitoring program, the site should be monitored monthly. And these are survey equipment. And next one is about management. On MDMG monitoring guide, the debris is weighed on the basis of weight, But ISBDP program, the debris is weighed on the basis of number and weight. For the transit, I'll show you the details later. And they record the data on the data card. This is the diagram of the MDMG's monitoring guide. 100-meter beach is divided into 5 20-meter transects. And on each transect, 5 meter by 5 meter sub-transects are selected randomly for the macro debris survey. So 5 quadrants are surveyed. And this is ISBDP's survey site. For 50-meter beach is divided into 3 150-meter transects, and 3 meters to the backshore and 3 meters to the water edge from the strand line were selected, and the 3 zones are surveyed. Now I show you the data cards of the 2 different monitoring guides to briefly understand the debris classification. Different colors mean different materials. These are plastic, and these are foam plastic and fabric, glass and ceramic, metal, paper and cardboard, rubber, wood, and other materials. This data card belongs to MDMG. And this data card belongs to ISBDP. They have plastic and rubber, metals, glass, wood and derivative, clothing and similar, other waste, and toxic hazardous materials. 2 monitoring guidelines classify the debris on a material basis. MDMG divides the debris into 9 materials, and ISBDP monitoring guides classify the debris into 7 materials. These are material categories. From now on, I'll introduce you the Korean nationwide marine debris monitoring program. The name of the program is Korean National Beach Litter Monitoring Program, in short KNB-LMP. It started on 2008 and continues to this day. For the year 2008 to 2017, we call it the first phase of KNB-LMP, and from 2018, we call it the second phase of KNB-LMP. On the beginning, we started 20 sites, and then added 20 more sites in 2014. And debris was classified on the material and source basis. On the second phase of KNB-LMP, we have focused on the plastics, and the debris is classified on the material basis only. Focusing plastics means plastics are classified into individual items, and other materials are counted as a whole. 20 more sites were added from 2021. These are details of the KNB-LMP. The program is authorized by Ministry of Ocean and Fishery. The goal of it is to gain an understanding of marine debris levels and sources to establish management policies against marine debris. Debris is classified into 8 categories and again into 60 item categories. Site should be sand or gravel. It should be open beach. It should not be cleaned except this monitoring survey. And these sites are representative of Korean coastline. For data collection, we surveyed the site bi-monthly. The survey was conducted by trained volunteers, and they should be participate in a trained workshop annually. For the data management and this program, we measure the debris on the basis of number and weight. And for the transit, I'll show you later in detail. They use data card and upload the data on the website. And this is we have advanced database analysis system. And for data quality, we distribute manuals to the surveyors, and we train the surveyors and conducted joint survey. The photographs should be taken on the site, and data is downloaded from the database, and check probable errors in person. And if the errors were found, we correct the data immediately. This is the diagram of the monitoring sites. We designate 100 sections of the site for the monitoring survey and divide it into 25 trend decks, and randomly select 4 500 trend decks from them and collect debris larger than 2.5 centimeter in it. This is the data card of KNB LMP. It is noticeable that foreign debris is distinguished from domestic debris. Domestic debris is classified into 8 categories on the basis of material, and plastics is again divided into 5 types and 37 items. For foreign debris, we have 3 categories for material basis, and plastic is again divided into 14 items. I'll tell you a little more about debris classification. For domestic debris, we have 8 material categories. They are plastic, wood, metal, natural fiber, rubber, glass, paper, and others. For plastics, we have 5 types: hard plastic, foamed plastic, fiber, film, and others. And these are classified into 37 items. In total, for domestic debris, we have 44 items. For foreign debris, we have 3 materials: plastics, glass, and others. And foreign plastics is divided again into hard plastic, foamed plastic, fiber, film, and others. They comprise of 14 items. In total, for foreign debris, we have 16 items. As a whole, we have 60 items for marine debris. With this method, we did a pilot survey in Labuan Bajo, Flores, Indonesia in 2019 through the project Strengthen and Improvement for Marine Debris Response in Indonesia in 2019. We selected 5 sites in Labuan Bajo. We had kick-off meeting in July 2019 and a training workshop for it in October 2019. Beach debris survey is conducted in Labuan Bajo by KNB LMP. We did a survey in the Labuan Bajo and analyzed the data and presented it during the workshop. This photo shows us the survey participants. This is the result of the survey. Plastics occupied 82% in number and 28% in weight. Look at this, the weight of wood. It occupied 72%. It's relatively high because we found processed wood on the site. It may bias the data of the result. To avoid this kind of bias, we have to survey many sites. This is the top 10 items of the result. Plastics comprises 74% of the total, and beverage bottle lid ranked first place. Second was film fragment, and the third was the plastic food wrappers. The result tells us if we focus on bottle lid, film fragment, and plastic food wrapper, we can reduce a huge amount of debris on the coast of Labuan Bajo. We can make an awareness program or management plans against this debris. Up to now, I reviewed Indonesian monitoring researches, nationwide monitoring guidelines, and the Korean nationwide monitoring program. From this work, I tried to extract advantages and disadvantages of the monitoring program. Frankly speaking, I couldn't get more information about MDMG and ISBDP because I couldn't find information through internet or in papers. Please let me know more information about it so that I can fill these empty cells. For the advantages, I used blue radar, and for disadvantages, I used red radar. I think MDMG has disadvantages regarding transect designation. If we select 5 meter by 5 meter quadrant, it is narrow to reflect entire size, and it has a chance to avoid accumulated zone or vice versa. ISBDP program has disadvantages for the transect too. For many sites and the repetition, for 150 meter section seems too long, and the survey only stranded line may overestimate of the debris for the site. And MDMG has advantages for frequency of the survey. Seasonal survey would be better because Indonesia has 2 monsoon seasons like west and east monsoon. Monthly survey can reflect the flux of debris better, but it may cost more. For KNB-LMP, for disadvantages, it costs more than other monitoring program to get high quality of data. For advantages, it has guaranteed data through training for surveyors, checking survey photo, and downloading the data and inspecting them. It has advantages over data analysis. We publish annual analysis report. It's good for establishing management policy and raising awareness. After reviewing all researches that were available to me and the 3 monitoring programs, 2 from Indonesia, 1 from Korea, I made recommendations for nationwide beach debris monitoring method in Indonesia. For site selection, structured site selection would be recommended. It is especially true for Indonesia because it has a long coastline with more than 91,000 kilometers and 17,000 islands. For classification of debris, adding plastic fragment would be recommended because we don't know the sources for fragmented plastics. Offline line transect survey would be better than quadrat survey because we have to consider random sampling and representativeness of the debris for the site. For the frequency in Indonesia, seasonal survey would be better because Indonesia has 2 rainy seasons like west monsoon and east monsoon. It can reflect seasonal variations. Surveyors should be trained regularly and repeatedly. Joint survey with researchers can be good help for reliability and consistency of the data. Data analysis can help developing and assessing management policies. And we can find spatio-temporal variation and source through data analysis. Through data analysis and sharing the data, we can raise awareness for marine debris too. Finally, I would recommend joint research with neighboring countries for marine debris survey because marine debris characteristics of transboundary transportation. This is photos for 2019 workshop. We had good memories for the workshop. I thank you again for the participant for the workshop. Thank you for listening to my presentation. 7